I've got a brand new belt, $8 and something.
Greetings. Thanks for watching another YouTube video on this channel. My name is Gerald. This is my John Deere F935 mower. It's got a 60-inch deck on it. I've owned it for about 20 years, and I know it was 3 or 4 years old before I bought it. So it's well over 20 years old. About 2 years ago, I found myself laying under the tractor trying to figure out how to change the fan belt. That's what this video is about. However, it's a little unusual in the sense that it starts off with me laying underneath the machine. I had not planned on doing a video. So I hope this helps someone. If it does, please comment below and let me know.
Well, you might ask, what am I doing underneath the tractor? Believe it or not, this is all part of changing a fan belt on an F935. That's a John Deere. This unit here has got to be 20 years old. I think I got it in 2004, and the people that I got it from had it for probably 4 or 5 years. At any rate, I was down here and checking things out to see if I could change the fan belt, and I found out that, well, it looked harder than it really was. And when I looked hard enough, I found something else that wasn't quite right. I'm going to show that to you right now. This is called an isolator. Some of you may now already know what I'm talking about. It's this rubber donut in between the hydraulic drive shaft and that's the pump, I believe, and the engine. It's attached directly to the front of the engine. So in order to get the fan belt on, you have to take this off, and this drive shaft has to drop down. Now, I did not know that that drive shaft would drop down that easy. So I was going to take it in and have someone else do it. And they said it was $500 to $1,000 to replace the fan belt and this thing called an isolator. Now, I noticed that this thing was cracked right away as soon as I crawled underneath here, and I haven't been under here in a while. I should be probably looking around. At any rate, you may have saw a couple other things wrong. One of them is that the hydraulic fluid was coming out of the transmission, I guess that you would call that, the hydraulic transmission, because the little plastic overfill tube was cracked and it was blowing out all over the place. At any rate, that's replaced as well. So this piece alone is between $197 and I think $205, different stores, all John Deere related, of course. So I went to the one that was the least expensive, and they actually have that in stock. But the fan belt, that cost $8 and something, and that wasn't in stock. So eventually this will all get put back together, and it's very simple to do, and I hope that I'm going to be able to videotape that in these cramped quarters so that if anybody else has issues with an F935, that they'll actually be able to find something online, because I could not find anything online. That's why I'm underneath my tractor talking about it. Let's go to the next step. Well, here we go. I've got a brand new belt, $8 and something, and a brand new isolator, which I will show you what the new one looks like. And then you can take a look at the old one. So here's the new one. About the size of my fist. So this thing here, $197. And the old one, looks like this. Oh, I just got to remember these 3 bolts go on that. You can see how it's cracked. Cracked in 3 places. So if this thing were to disintegrate under there, the engine coupling is on one side and a shaft is on the other side that has a U-joint in it that powers the hydraulics. It sits just in front of the radiator underneath. So actually, yeah, underneath, I believe. So it actually fits, yeah, back and underneath the radiator. So when this thing goes, let's see if I can break it. That's how much it took to break that. That's a good thing that that fan belt broke, because I never would have found this. Oh my gosh. Okay. I also bought some oil and hydraulic fluid to put in there. And so I'm gonna put these back in their perspective spots, because these are raised up and these are flat. These were the ones that were flat. They go facing this way underneath. So let's get to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this fan belt on here, and this has got to go on the engine side. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to get it around these 5 or 6 fan blades. So it looks like they're going to go on pretty easy. The blade bends because it's made out of plastic. That's 5 of them. That's 6. Now the blade's all the way down on the, the belt is all the way on this side of the blade. So the next thing I have to do here is put this belt over the alternator. One thing I found out here is that these bolts are metric, whereas the bolts at the bottom that attach the isolator are just, what is it, SAE? Is that what they call it? Anyway, kind of strange that they would be mixed, metric and American. And why isn't this loosening up? I guess there's one more I've got to do. And that one is not the same size. New fan belt installed in 23 minutes, and that was looking for the wrenches. Now it's just a matter of putting that new isolator on. It's good and tight. Doesn't have to be lined up, it's automatically lined up. Well, let's see if I remember how this thing goes back together. And I'm looking for one more bolt. There it is. Now, I've got to try to get that last one in. It's up on top, but it doesn't look too difficult. A little bit of hand adjustment. Almost got it in all the way there. Boy, that looks good. It feels good to know that needed to be replaced and got done before it split apart. So like I said, here's the radiator. And believe it or not, that has happened once before to the previous owner. This is exactly how it came off too. I was able to turn the engine with the wrench instead of putting a pipe wrench on that drive shaft there. And like I said, these are 1/2-inch size bolts that I'm using a 1/2-inch socket and wrench on, whereas the ones on top are metric. I don't know if I've ever found that before in anything where they're both. All right, now we're gonna tighten them up. I don't know what the torque specs are, but they were pretty tight. See if I can get this box end on there. That wrench will go in there. Nah, it just doesn't want to. Yeah, I don't want to. I'll have to go this way with it, open end. There. And we'll cross over. And one more on the, I guess you would call that the drive shaft one. All right, now we're going to tighten them down to the engine. And what I did is I used this wrench as leverage last time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that this time. Maybe just use a nut from one of the other ones. Okay. And one more. I'll check them again. Yeah, they're tight. Let me tell you, that took 1/2 hour, and that included finding my wrenches because I didn't know what sizes they were. My wrenches aren't exactly in order. But that was 12 minutes yesterday and 30 minutes today. So let's give them 45 minutes at $85 an hour. Let's just make it $100 an hour. 45 minutes. That's $45. And well, no, it ain't $45. It'd be 50 and 25, be $75 in labor. Parts 200. Oh no, yeah, 212. So we're not talking 500 or 1,000 here. We're talking under $300. So I don't get it. I mean, I wasn't gonna do it, but I did it. I mean, and the proof of the pudding will be when I start this thing up and finish cutting my grass. But before I do that, I've got to change the hydraulic oil And I'll probably put new motor oil and filter in it too, which I bought. Hey, please subscribe to the channel. You never know what I'm gonna do next. And remember, be safe and be blessed.
Well, I hope that someone out there got something out of this. If you've got a John Deere F935 or you're taxed with having to change one of these some way, shape, or form, I hope that it helps you. If nothing else, and you have one of these things, what you should probably do is make sure you inspect these parts to make sure that you don't have any cracks in that rubber piece. I forgot the name of it. So anyway, God bless, be safe, and again, thanks for watching.